Shout out to Q. But cheers. As you all heard, Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, who is the Speaker of the House and who happens to be a Democrat, has stated today that she's opposed to impeaching President Donald J. Trump. And she went on to say, he's just not worth it. This is brought to me by Fox News. And you can look it up on Google or whatever search engine you choose to. And look at different articles as well. This is not surprising. First of all, Psych perspectives. The presidential election is literally next year. November 2020, we will be voting for president again. And it's March 2019. They got a year and a half, basically. But the thing is that it's a little too late to be worrying about impeaching. I mean, if the Democrats really want to get their shit together, they need to figure out why the hell they got 20-something people running for president as a Democratic nominee. I'm just saying, because to me, you got over 20 people running. You got Bernie Sanders throwing in his hat again, raised over $4 million in under 24 hours. And then you got your token black folks or your token people of color with Cory Booker and Kamala Harris. You know, you've got your typical tokenized folks. And you got Bernie Sanders, right? And you got others. You got Joe Biden. But here's my thing. Bernie Sanders, Joe Biden, quite frankly, do we really need more old people running as president? I'm sorry, but damn it, you're both in your 70s, heading into your 80s. You need to sit your asses down. Okay? The same shit that we said about Hillary Rodham Clinton and how she's too old to be doing what she's doing. Bernie Sanders is older than Hillary Clinton, okay? Joe Biden is older, I believe, too. And with that being said, sit down. Really. Okay? And then Joe Biden, you were the freaking vice president for 8 years. Sit down. Anyways, let's get into this. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, Democrat representing California, revealed she opposed to impeachment of President Donald Trump in the absence of evidence that is compelling and overwhelming and bipartisan. Quote, I'm not for impeachment, Pelosi told the Washington Post in an interview published Monday. Quote, impeachment is so divisive to the country that unless there's something so compelling and overwhelming and bipartisan, I don't think we should go down that path because it divides the country and he's just not worth it. No offense, Nancy, but the country is already divided. I mean, seriously, have you not been paying attention? Probably not, because you are a typical Democrat. No offense to the Democrats. No, complete offense to the Democrats and the Republicans. They're both full of shit. And this is why I urge people to consider leaving the two-party political system and being an independent, okay? Because honestly, they both have their pros, but they also have their cons. And it seems to me that neither the Democrats or the Republicans really care about the American people or the people on Main Street, which is the majority of us, because the majority of us are not making hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars a year. The majority of us are working 2 and 3 jobs and barely making ends meet. Okay? So, you know, as far as you being concerned about, you know, the country being divided, it's been divided. Anyways, also this is just proving another point, because I used to be a Democrat. I used to, you know, I was a registered Democrat, card-carrying Democrat, you know, elected official, you know, and I was going to the meetings, going to the rallies, going to the protests, you know, voter registration drives, knocking on doors, canvassing communities, phone banking. I was doing it all, but it didn't take much for me to see that this is BS with a capital BS. But like I said, another thing that needs to be discussed is the simple fact that you know, and even Nancy, she needs to sit her ass down. You're 78. See, this is the problem. These old people won't sit down and get out the way so younger people, and now we're not even young. We're talking about 30 and 40-year-olds having opportunities that they should have. But they can't because you got 78-year-old Nancy Pelosi sitting up there as Speaker of the House. Okay? I'm just going to be honest. And I'm so sick and tired of this because, oh, what about seniority? Screw seniority. Sit your ass down somewhere. Anyways, back to what I was saying. It's just absolutely, it's getting out of control. It is out of control. As far as there being overwhelming reasons to impeach Trump, I mean, let's be honest. You know, I don't care if you're Republican, Democrat, Independent, Green Party, Libertarian. I really don't care about what your political party affiliation is. We all know deep down Trump's family and what's been going on. If that isn't, I don't know, espionage, treason, then I don't know what it is. Because if this was 15 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, he would have been impeached and that family would be sitting in a federal prison right now. And we all know that, okay? This is bizarre, okay? But in the meantime, I still don't necessarily agree with the impeachment because, I mean, it's a year and a half. Like, we really don't have time for this. You should have been doing everything you should have been doing in 2016 to avoid all this to begin with. But no, you guys were too busy having in-house fights and all kinds of other corruption. But anyways, another thing that Psych perspectives that we have to bring up is, well, what about black people and people of color? What about women? What about the people whose families are being destroyed by ICE and people literally being, you know, incarcerated in detention centers for how long? Because we really don't know. Families being ripped apart. Lower income and working class people and working poor who are still suffering to make ends meet because we're not paying people living wages and the cost of living is steady increasing and people still don't have access to quality, affordable health insurance. And let's not talk about the student loan issue with everybody and their damn mom owing over $40,000 or more on average to some institution for a piece of paper that isn't worth much in today's economy. I'm just saying. There's so many other reasons why we are divided, okay? But again, to the people of color, to the black folks, to the women, to the marginalized communities and the LGBTQ+, the working class, the working poor, the middle class, you have to ask yourself, why are you still supporting Democrats? I'm just saying. Why are you supporting Republicans? I'm just saying, because time and time again, they are proven that they really are not thinking about you or your best interests. I'm just saying. Anyways, I'm out of here.